Should we be expecting tax cuts to come? In light of the Chancellor indicating he could reduce business levies to boost economic growth, Jeremy Hunt said difficult decisions to reform the welfare state are required as he considers squeezing benefits by billions while slashing inheritance tax.
Yeah, following this, households closest to new pylons and electricity substations could receive up to £10,000 off their bills over the course of a decade under the Chancellor.
This is part of the plan to help halve the time it takes to deliver new electricity networks to 7 years.
Well, joining us now to discuss this is political commentator Alex Armstrong. Alex, at long last, Jeremy Hunt seems to have found some wonga down the back of the sofa at Downing Street. We need a tax cut, surely, if the Tories to have any chance of avoiding wipeout at the next general election. But it sounds controversial, squeezing benefits to give it to the richest for inheritance tax. Tell us more.
Yeah, good morning, both of you. And we've seen this before, haven't we? It feels like a return to the Cameron years where we're squeezing the poorest to hand out to the richest. Now, we're talking about inheritance tax, of course. It's been quite a controversial policy to tax people. They've been calling it the death tax. It's something that's quite commonly referred to online. And, actually only 4% of estates actually pay inheritance tax. So it's quite a small population of the public that ever really get impacted by this policy. Now, many will say that they welcome tax cuts. And, of course, we should welcome tax cuts. We do need some growth in the country if we want to avoid a recession. But we're really seeing Rishi appeal to his blue wall and completely ditch the red wall. We've seen that in recent moves. Bringing back David Cameron is a beautiful example of this, I think. But if we're really talking about what direction this government's going in for the general election, they're desperate to keep their blue wall now. I think they realise that's totally under threat. The government now, the cabinet really reflects a blue wall cabinet. So we're seeing a return to the old and a bit of a departure from the post-Brexit post-Brexit government, at least in policy terms. So, I think the pylon piece is interesting as well, because, if you run the numbers, Martin, you'll find that, if you live 500 metres, let's say 500 metres away from a pylon, which, is still quite far in terms of how far away you'd be from one, that's only 2.3% of households. If you get closer to 50 metres, we're talking about 0.07. So I don't really know who this policy is targeted at. And to me, it just feels like a last-ditch attempt to splash some cash, even though not many people are really going to benefit from it.
Well, it sounds like Jeremy Hunt has been listening to you, because actually on the front page of the Sunday Times this morning, it suggests that he's going to delay that inheritance tax cut until spring and focus instead on a cut to either income tax or national insurance. Do you think that's the route he's going to take? And do you think that is what he'll do? Or do you think he'll get the jitters at the last minute?
Well, it will be quite a departure from the rumours that have been circulating around the Politico sphere, at least anyway. Income tax and national insurance were never on the cards, or at least will only be on the cards recently. So that may be some rumbling from the back benches saying you've got to do a little bit more than this sort of nonsense cuts that people are going to completely see through. Then the Tories do need some vote-winning policies. They haven't seemed to got any.
The fact of the matter is, Alex, the Tories are meant to be a party of low tax. Many people feel they voted Boris and got Corbyn. When you look at the tax regime that we live under, and if the Tories don't give a tax cut, OK, with £2.6 trillion in debt, little side note there, but if they don't, they're doomed. They have to do it, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, look, this was Liz Truss's argument, right? And the reason why that fell flat and Liz Truss's high growth plan fell flat is because it went against the goals of the Bank of England, which was to drive down inflation. And we've heard Rishi bang on about getting on top of inflation, despite it being really the Bank of England's job to do so. But, I think they do need some vote-winning policies. They need to sell the public, we're going to do something, and we're going to put some money back in your pocket rather than take it off of you. We are living under the highest tax burden. I know everyone says this, the highest tax burden since World War II. So, what are we going to do if we have a Tory government that's going into an election with no vote-winning policies and having completely thrown out their red wall seats? They won't have anything really to campaign for. So, Martin and Olivia, I think you're both right. They need to do something, and they're running desperately out of time and out of ideas. So, tax cuts are where the Tory party finds itself most comfortable. There's not a single MP. I know Liz ran a rebellion of, I think, 60 to 80 MPs to try and get to, saying we will never vote for more tax rises. So they've got to do something. I mean, I don't know what else they're going to do, frankly. I think the pylon idea is a little bit mad, but there we go.
OK, Alex Armstrong, I think many people agree. As Bill Clinton said, it's the economy, stupid. Politics, when it comes to elections, is all about bribery. Maybe at long last we're seeing a bit of that coming.
Well,
More for it.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. You have a good day.